Okay, guys, how's everybody feeling? Have you finished at least the script portion of your CPT? Feeling okay? All right. So on Friday we're going to see who's going to go on Monday, who's going to go on Tuesday. One more night to go home and watch the TED Talk, Ode to Envy, give you kind of an idea of what you're going for that assignment. But we can put that out of our mind for now because today we're starting a new unit. And so for the next 2 weeks, we're going to be telling you guys a story. Okay? And the story is about a man. This man is named Oedipus or Oedipus. Whichever you pronounce. I mean, I lived close to American when I grew up, so I pronounce it the American way, Oedipus. However, the proper Greek pronunciation is actually Oedipus. It's not a D, it's actually a TH. So Oedipus, Oedipus, whichever you guys prefer. That's actually how I remember Ida's name, because it sounds like Oedipus. Fun fact. Anyway, so before we start, the first portion of this story I'm going to tell you guys is the prologue. And what that means, does anybody here know what a prologue is? You guys have heard that term before? Anyone have an idea of what it is?
Before the book.
Before the book, before the story, setting the stage. So we're going to set the stage in this class. Who has actually read the Oedipus play before? Two. Who here has ever heard of the play? You may not have read it, but you know the story more or less. And who here has absolutely no idea it's going to be a first-time introduction to everything? Okay, so it's a good kind of mix. For those of you who've read it, don't spoil the twist ending. We're going to watch it today. Okay, so yes, we are going to watch the production. Okay, it's a 1957 production of the play that was put on at Stratford. Guys, pass it. So it's a 1957 production of the play. It was put on at Stratford. It's a crazy play. As I told you guys before, you guys are just going to have to experience it. But before we get to that, I'm going to do a little activity with you guys. It's going to be in your rows. Okay, so this is a very dense play. It's a very complex play, and I find the best way to approach it is not trying to take on the whole thing at once. You guys have too much else to do. So I'm going to make things a little bit easier. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. Every row. Okay, there are 4 rows. You're going to be assigned one character in the play. Okay, there's only one character that you have to worry about. So we're going to be reading the play out loud next week, over 3 days. The only character you have to worry about reading is the character that I assigned you. Okay, so somewhat arbitrarily, I'm going to make this row here, even your row. You guys are going to be assigned Oedipus. So know his lines, know him as a character, okay? All you have to worry about is Oedipus. This row, you guys are going to be the chorus, okay? That's the only character you guys have to worry about is the chorus, okay? You guys are going to be Teiresias, okay? Just worry about Teiresias, okay? And you guys are going to be Kreon. Just worry about Kreon, all right? So, what's everybody here doing?
Oedipus.
Everybody here?
Chorus. Teiresias.
Kreon.
Oedipus.
Kreon. Chorus. Kreon.
Very good, excellent. Okay, so just keep that in mind. We're going to get you guys copies of the play either tomorrow or next week. You don't need them yet. You can actually find it online if you guys want. But today we're going to watch the movie. But before we do that, like I say, there's an activity I want to do with you guys, okay? So, who remembers the course code and who this course is for? So guys, which character is Aisha? Your row? So she's the course. Excellent. So this course is for you guys, right? So I'm going to tell you guys, the only thing that's going to make this course difficult is you guys are going to actually have to think every day when you come in. Okay? That's what's going to be rough about it. If you guys are good with that, then you'll be good with the course. So I also told you guys that everything we'll be doing is going to be directly relevant to your life the day that we teach it, right? That's a pretty tough thing to handle for an English class, right? Because everybody knows English is the most useless course that you take. Is that right, or am I wrong?
Wrong. You're wrong.
I'm wrong. I'm glad you guys think that, because I think so too. But I'm actually going to try and prove it to you guys. Okay, so just like how I split up you guys into characters, I'm also going to give each of you your rows a theme. I want you guys to just think about how this theme is developed in the play, okay? You only have to think about the one. You can think about the others if you want, but there's only one that you have to think about, okay? The Kreon row, okay? you guys are going to be working on the theme of justice. It's a big abstract theme. How does that relate to your life right now? Well, there's a concept that's very much in vogue, that's very popular right now. And that concept is the one of social justice. How many here have heard the term social justice before? I imagine almost everybody. Okay. What does it mean? It's an interesting question, right? But we can't get at what a term like social justice means until we know what the actual unqualified term justice means. And that could take you a lifetime to figure out what that means. So this row, the Kreon row, justice. Who are you guys?
Oedipus.
Oedipus or Oedipus. Thank you, Sarah. You guys are going to be working on the idea of heroism. The question that will guide your thought is Oedipus a hero or is he not a hero? Why might it be important for us to know if Oedipus is a hero or not? What do you think, Calvin?
Because that determines whether you look at him as a tragic hero or like an influential hero.
Or an influential hero. Should he be somebody that we admire, take as a role model or not? That's going to be the question that you guys answer. Okay? Let's row here. Of course, you guys are going to be working on the theme of democracy. Okay? How is the idea of democracy developed? Is it touched on? What does the play have to say about democracy? Why might that be important? Thomas, why do you think thinking about democracy might be important? Or is it important?
I mean, I guess it's depending on what the story is talking about.
No, I'm talking about for you, in your life. You guys live in Canada, you guys are 17 and 18 years old. Why does democracy matter to you guys?
I mean, it's important because it determines like our social standing and where we are in society.
Christine, do you have any ideas as well?
Similar to Thomas.
Similar?
Yeah.
Put them in your own words. What do you think?
Like, I guess it like shows where you are, like where you stand, and like who you are, basically, kind of like that.
That's right. You guys just so happen to live in a democracy, all of you. And it just so happens that pretty soon you guys will be able to vote in your democracy, right? It's probably a good idea to figure out what democracy is all about. And is it indeed a good thing? Okay. And what's this row? Teiresias. It's a rough name, Teiresias. Okay? So you guys are going to be working on the question of free will. You guys know what that means? What does it mean when I say free will? Do you understand what I do? You have freedom to make your own choices. You know, one of the things that English doesn't apply, like, doesn't really apply to people because they think it's a pretty soft subject. Why do we have to know about how to write an essay and read, poetry? Edith wants to be a baller. How's that going to help him? Is that right? One of the things I propose to you guys is this. I think that there are two ways you can manipulate and control a person. You control them physically, right? You just bully them, into submission. But we don't seem to see that too often. I mean, it happens, but I think the way you can manipulate somebody is how? Mentally. You can trick them. You can manipulate them mentally. You can use their emotions against them, right? I imagine that everybody here has experienced that. Hopefully not as the manipulator. So one of the things you might think about in relation to free will is what are the strings that are on you? What are the strings that are not on you? The ones that are on. How can you learn to deal with the ones that will always be on? That's the idea of free will that you guys will be dealing with. But of course, you guys are all free to think about it. So these four themes. What's the theme over here? Shaka?
Justice.
Justice. Keenan? What's your theme?
Heroism.
Heroism.
Democracy.
Democracy. Free will. Would you guys say these are important things to think about or not important things to think about?
Yeah.
That's right. So like I said, I think most of the people here have a part-time job. Is that right? Yeah. Who here works in a restaurant again? I think you do, right? You work at McD's. It's a restaurant. When you're at the fry-later and you're making French fries, okay, your manager doesn't care what you guys think about justice or democracy. They care the fries golden brown, right? So it's true. For 75 minutes a day, what do I care about in this class? Here in Pre, what do I care about in this class for 75 minutes a day? Having to do with you guys. True, and your ideas about them, okay? I care about your ideas. You guys have 75 minutes a day. It's not much. But for 75 minutes, your ideas are going to matter. It doesn't mean that they're all correct. It doesn't mean that they aren't going to change. But it does mean that I'm going to take them seriously for 75 minutes a day. There's a joke how it's like, right now you guys have to ask to go to the washroom. and in like less than a year's time, you're going to be making decisions for what you do for the rest of your life. I'm going to try to usher you guys in a little bit slower. I'm going to try to take it a little bit more seriously as adults. But again, it's what you guys give me. If you guys take these things seriously, then I'm going to take you guys seriously. And if you don't, if there are more important things in your life, I understand. But just know that you're going to get from me everything that you give. Okay, I'm going to treat every question you guys give me seriously, and every thought that you guys have, I'm going to take with the utmost seriousness. Okay? So, with that serious tone set, we're going to do a little bit of an activity. Everybody is going to take out a scrap piece of paper. It doesn't have to be lined, it doesn't have to be pretty, just take out something that you can write on. Just something you can write down something on. Okay? As this guy's sharpening people's papers.
You want me to?
This one, I think this is actually something important. I think it might be. This looks like it might be a scrap piece of paper.
It's okay. No, wait, someone.
Grab some from somebody.
No, Jeremy, there's something that.
Okay, so a scrap piece of paper and a writing utensil is all you need. Okay, it doesn't have to be very long. Okay, so what I'm going to ask you guys to do is I want you to think about your theme, your big idea. Okay, let's just quickly get it again. What's the big idea over here? Free will?
Heroism.
Justice.
Okay, you guys are going to put your pen on the paper, okay, when I say start, and then for 180 seconds, how many minutes is that? 3 minutes. You guys are not going to take the pen off the paper. I guess you have to write in cursive, in the sense that you guys are going to write nonstop for 3 minutes about everything that you can think of having to do with that theme. I don't care if it doesn't make sense. I don't care if there's not proper grammar, okay? Just get the idea from here on to here, okay? When you guys are writing your CPTs, what's the hardest thing to do is to organize your thoughts, okay? The most imposing thing to you guys is a blank piece of paper, all right? This is the exercise. Just get them down. Get the thoughts out of here onto there. Doesn't matter if they don't make sense. Doesn't matter if you read them later and you don't agree. Just get them from here onto the paper, okay? We're going to go up at the 20-second mark. So get ready. Now, here we go. 3, 2, start. Okay. Pen on the paper. Keep going. Right. Doesn't matter if it doesn't make sense. You guys are thinking about your themes. What does free will mean to you? Do we live in a just society? Is democracy a good form of government? What does it mean if somebody's heroic? Do you have a hero? Do we have free will? Are we deterministic?
You're writing.
Is that pen on the paper?
Anything that comes to your mind. Right? I don't know. Right? I have absolutely no idea what justice means. Do we live in a just society? I don't know. I don't even know what that's supposed to mean. If you know what the origins of the word democracy are, if you're that much of a nerd and you know your Greek, you can write about that. But just make sure it's on your theme. Keep going. Keep going. First minute's up. Just keep going. Get it all on the paper, okay, guys? Doesn't have to be perfect. Doesn't have to be something that you agree with, you'd be willing to die for. Just get your ideas on the paper. Point form, long form sentences, doesn't matter. Just get them on the paper, please, okay? 2 minutes are up. You have 60 seconds to go, okay? Write your hearts out. 30 seconds left. Keep going. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, rest your hand. A little massage. Take it easy. Reflect on how brilliant you guys are. Okay. Next thing we're going to do. Allison, do you know what the word infallible means?
Like not necessarily not stoppable, but like bold. I guess. Is it?
Close. Does anybody know what the word infallible means? It's a major league word. What's it? Infallible. Infallible. No idea? Okay, fair enough. Infallible means that.
Does it mean like you're perfect?
Yeah, you're perfect. You can't be wrong. You know everything, more or less. You're never wrong. Let me ask: is anybody here infallible in this room, other than me? Is anybody here infallible? What would you guys say? No. Not a single person. Interesting. Okay. So let me ask you, Thomas. You guys wrote about what? Democracy. Did you write everything that's to be known about democracy on that piece of paper?
No.
No, you didn't. So we're all fallible. We don't know everything. We're mortals. We're bounded. How is one of the ways we can get around this? You might be fallible, Thomas, and you only know as much as you wrote on that piece of paper. Ria, you only know as much as you put on that paper. Megan, Tatiana, Ida, okay? You only know as much as you put on that paper. Individually, you're fallible. How can we, maybe not get over it, but how can we make it a little bit better? Any ideas? Allison?
Learning.
Learning? Learning from who?
Others.
Others. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to talk to everyone in our group. So we're going to do a big, wish Pat was here. We need an engineer to set this up. Frank, you want to be an engineer?
Yeah.
You want to be an engineer. Okay. What we're going to do, in your groups, in your rows, you're going to engineer some kind of way to all sit around each other, sit next to each other. You all have to get into groups in your rows. If you want to move the desks together and put all the chairs around them, do that. If you think you can fit all the chairs around instead of 2 desks, doesn't matter. We have 30 seconds to all get into a group where you can all see and hear everyone in the group.
We can do
Okay. Isn't it ironic that the democracy group took the longest to get into groups? You guys are supposed to be a democracy. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. Every person in the group, only one person will be speaking at a time. You'll be speaking just to every other member of your group for 1 minute each. You're going to discuss what you wrote down on your paper with your group. How embarrassing. Sir, you said this didn't have to be perfect. Of course it's not perfect, but it's what you guys think. This is how we move from not knowing anything to knowing maybe a little bit of something, maybe. So, pick who's going to go first. Move in a clockwise fashion. Everybody gets 1 minute. I'll call up the minute to switch. And you're just going to talk about what you have on your paper. The more you talk about, there's a professor of mine used to say, if you ask a dumb question, you're dumb for a few seconds. If you don't ask a dumb question, you're dumb forever. Okay? So even if you guys think that what you have on there is dumb, or doesn't make any sense, or isn't right, that's even more reason to get it out so you can be corrected. And if you think what you have is brilliant, well, flaunt your brilliantness, your brilliance. Yeah, I studied English, I promise. Okay, so at 35, let's take it at 37 seconds. 1, 2, 1, somebody start talking. Okay, beautiful. Okay, the final little phase of this activity, Right now you've had your own ideas. You've had at least 5 other people's ideas, or 4 in this group. Okay, so you guys should be pretty close to experts. You guys should all be ready to write books on justice, democracy, free will, and heroism. But before
Pardon the interruption. Ms. Severino, please call the main office. Ms. Severino, thank you.
But before we do that, there's one more stage, okay? And that is, we're all going to get a little bit more mixed. You will all be individual spokespeople for your theme. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to assign everybody a number, okay? And then we're gonna mix up. I'm glad you're liking it so much. Okay, guys, be honest with me, okay? This is a learning experience. Everybody who here liked that activity, put up your hand if you actually liked it. Be honest if you did. You did it, okay? And let's be real honest. Who here did not like that activity? I know Bellany didn't.
How come?
I think I heard you say, I hate this activity.
Oh, I just didn't like the whole, I didn't like the whole adding numbers thing.
Exposed.
You like
it?
Pretty hard evidence there.
That's messy. So wait. So I'm concerned actually. So what part you didn't like the numbers assigned?
Yeah, I was
Why
just
not?
lazy.
Oh, fair enough. That's valid. That's valid. I didn't want to get out of bed this morning and come here and teach you guys Oedipus.
But you like our ideas.
I actually love Oedipus too. That's the one time you guys will hear my opinion. I really do love this play, and I don't think I'm over exaggerating when I say that if you guys are able to sufficiently internalize the things that you can learn from this play, it'll really be one of the most important plays you guys will have ever studied. And I mean that across disciplines again. Like I say, this isn't an exercise to become English students. This is an exercise to give you guys things that can help you for your life. And I'm not saying you'll get all of that now in high school. There are much more important things right now for you guys, I understand, than studying a play that's almost 3,000 years old. When it's framed that way, totally understand. However, what I'm going to try to do with you guys over the next 2 weeks, when things are a little bit different and you're not so worried about getting into school or getting good grades, and you're alone with your thoughts, and you actually are concerned to know, am I living in a just society? Is democracy a good thing, and is it running properly? Do I have free will? And what does it really mean to be a hero? What about my heroes? You know, what if my hero turns out to be not as heroic as I thought he or she was, right? Just a quick question for the democracy group. Is the United States a democracy?
Kind of.
No, I mean in a technical sense. Is it a democracy
Yes.
or no?
Yes.
No, it's actually a representative republic. Oh, what? Sir, what are you talking about? It's a democracy, right?
We have free will, we have care. Talk about the American Union.
It's technically called a representative republic. An interesting question for you guys to see is what is the difference between a democracy and a representative republic? A democracy, maybe think about that if you guys are interested, or anybody else. You know, I'm not saying they're a tyranny. I mean they're a representative republic. It's not like that different, but it is different. It is not a democracy. It's a representative republic. Okay, so now we're passing about half probably of tomorrow's class. All I want you guys to take from this, because we're also going to read it, so if you can't remember everything here, don't worry. Try focusing on your characters. Who's your character?
Oedipus.
Sure.
The chorus.
Megan?
Teiresias.
Teiresias? Should I?
Kreon.
Excellent. So I want you guys to try focusing on your character, okay? And
I'm gonna remember it. I think they said Kreon.
Kreon, yeah, there you go, Kreon. And try to enjoy it. It's quite fun. You just have to experience it. Okay, so are there any questions before we start watching? Are you guys ready to shut off, plug in, tune out, turn on? What's that called? What's a chorus? Your question. You know?
I left my rough copy for my English.
Yes. We have to get that. I'll get to the top of the end of the class, the top of lunch period. Okay.
The what?
So at the end of this class, the top of the next period. A chorus. We'll be discussing it fully. It'll identify the chorus here. Just hold that question in your mind for now, okay? Because we'll have whole class dedicated to that. Okay. Any other questions before we get going? No.